Hi everyone, welcome to the next video in this series of mini houses from Magical Worlds by Johanna Basford. We are using Castle Art Soft Touch pencils today, and we're going to be doing this little watering can. Now I realised that Johanna did this in a live video that she did as part of her book tour, and I think she did it in sort of silvers and things like that. I'm going to try something a little bit different to what she did. If you've already coloured it, I hope that you might just listen and watch, but we'll see what happens. I guess I'll find out. So what I thought I would quite like to do is to make this watering can look a little bit rusty. Now I have never tried this with this set of pencils in this way before, so it's going to be an interesting experiment. So I'm going to start with a little bit of cinnamon because it looks a bit rust-like. We're going to actually do the can first. As I said, I haven't practiced this, so it's we'll see what happens. I can't find the cinnamon. Is that a sign that I shouldn't be doing it? Here it is. Here's the cinnamon. Now with rust, it comes in little patches. It's not like, well, it could be the whole thing, but I'm going to put it in sort of patches of rust in different places. It might just end up looking a mess, but we'll just see. There's a bit here, a little bit here, and just sort of, I don't know. I loved how Johanna coloured it with a really pretty little florals, but leaves, I mean. I put a bit up here as well, because I think it might be more than there. Okay, so we've got some little patches. Oop. And then around this we need the actual colour of the watering can. Now we could do it silvery, or we could do it any colour because it could be like paint. Oh, handle. Sorry, back to the cinnamon. It could be that sort of paint is chipped off, you know, that sort of thing. I think I might go for, we've done a silver already there, haven't we? I was thinking blue. I'm going to go for blue. Will it work? Will it even look right? I don't know. I'm going to get some burnt sienna. And I'm going to actually put some darker bits within my rust first. I was going to do that anyway, so I'm going to do that while I'm dithering. So it's sort of in the centre bit of where your rusty patch is. Just put a little bit of a darker patch of colour. I think I'm going to do it silver. So we want a cool grey, a cold grey. We have the Paynes grey I think I'm going to use. There we go. It's probably what I used for my coffee pot. I can't even remember. Okay. Now, I want it a little bit darker at the bottom. It's nice and sharp, my pencil. Here. I'm going to fade it a bit once I get around these items towards this rusty patch. I'm thinking maybe the edges might be a bit darker, so where I can make it a bit darker here. And then a bit less towards here, so it looks like there's some shine in the middle even though we've got this sort of rusty bit. Like that, and here, I remember Johanna doing this one, and hers she left a white bit there, which is exactly what I want to do as well. A lot of my techniques are quite similar to hers because I watch her videos and colour. Got take tips from her. There we go. Now here, sort of fade into the middle there. And down here it's going to be dark down the bottom like I did on the other side, but we can fade it a bit there. And here, put a bit in there. On the spout, I think we'll fade it upwards. I think it would be more shadowy along the edge of the spout here. And and then sort of on this part of the rose. Still love playing with the rose on my parents' watering can. I don't know why. It's because it came off. You could take it off, and so you start taking it off and putting it on. I guess kids do that, don't they? My kids used to like that when they were toddlers. They'd like sort of putting things in and out of bags, or taking lids off and putting them on and things like that. I don't know why. They just used to find it quite fascinating. And this bit. Does it look rusty? Maybe. Maybe. Ow, I'm sitting on something sharp. Ouch. Oh, I don't know what that was. It's sticking through my trousers. I think it was a bit of pencil sharpening or something. It's, ow. Anyway, moving swiftly on, I'm going to use a little bit of, I want a darker shadow. I think we're going to have to use black, which is, we're getting a bit samey to our coffee pot, but I think we're not going to be able to avoid that really, because we're doing a sort of silvery colour. I'm just sharpening my black. This black's getting short. I've got a lot of black because I've got a lot of castle sets and they all come with a black. Because someone was actually messaged me and was telling me about how she was quite disappointed with Stedler because their colours were all the same in their sets, and it's something that I knew. So, and it's the same with Castle. So if you buy a set of 24 Castle, say you buy their botanical set, or I'm just darkening some of these areas really, or you buy their Monet set or something like that, you get a set of 24 pencils, and in that set you would always have a white and a black, and then 22 other colours. Those 22 colours are from the 150 set, and some of them will be in other 24 sets as well. So what I've done with Castle is I've actually made a chart, which you may or may not have seen, in my Ko-fi, and it shows you all the sets of excuse me, all the Castle sets, the soft touch sets. There's gold as well, and pastel tint and harmonious. We're just talking about soft touch sets, and all the soft touch pencils and which sets they're in, so that if you like a particular shade or whatever, you can grab a set with that one in, or you can decide whether it's worth you getting the 150 set or the little sets or whatever, just so that you know what you're getting, because I think it can be a little bit confusing. I'm trying to find a colour where I can just blend some of this rust in a little bit. I'm going to use the terracotta light, I think, and then we're going to work on our details. So yeah, so she was saying she'd got some Ergosofts, a 36 set, and she got some Stedler Design Journey, and what she got, a couple of sets of those, and she didn't realise they were all the same. That she sort of was, it made sense that the 24 Design Journey were included in the 72 Design Journey, but she didn't realise that the Ergosofts would be the same colours with the same names and everything. And she was sort of warning me, but I did know this. But it's true of a lot of sets. As I say, Castle is the same, but Castle Gold do have different pencils to Castle Art Soft Touch. However, they are surprising. I'm going to do I was going to just do a wooden door and wooden shutters, but I think that's a bit boring. I'm going to do the green next. I'm going to think about that after. I'm going to use the cadmium green pale to do all the green, and then I'm going to put a bit of darker colour on some areas. A bit of a different way than yesterday's colouring. So yeah, the gold and the soft touch have some colour names that are the same. some colours that are the same, but confusingly, some of the colour names aren't the same colour as each other. So let me explain that again because it's confusing. So let's say you've got a lemon yellow. I'm using this as an example because I can't remember exactly. So both sets might have a lemon yellow, can't say for sure, but they might not be the same colour as each other. However, the lemon yellow in one set might be the same colour as the lemon yellow light in the other set, for example. They're not consistent. So some colours are the same but they have different names, and some colours have the same names as each other but they're not the same colour. Confused? Yeah. So I've done a chart comparing the two sets because I'm lucky enough to have both sets. The castle actually sent me both, so I'm really lucky and grateful, and I do like them. You know, I haven't used these ones for ages, and I'd sort of almost thought, oh, I don't really like them much. And then I started using them in here, and I think they're actually really lovely pencils. They go down really well on this paper. As long as you've got a really sharp sharpener blade, then they are good. You need them sharp. If your sharpener blade is slightly blunt, then it will they don't sharpen nicely and the wood sort of splits and goes nasty. But if you've got a really sharp blade, they are lovely pencils, and they are budget pencils. They're not, you know, so they're not ultra expensive. However, you can't buy them open stock. I have been nagging them for years. Give us open stock. Like that, you know, not rude at all. Give us open stock. No, I have been asking if they've been thinking of doing them, asking customer services to pass that on. I did a survey for them quite recently where I banged on about it a lot. We want open stock. You know, I can use the sap green for my darker bits. So yes, I've nagged them, and I encourage other people to. Every time someone complains to me that they want open stock, I tell them to nag them, because not nag them, ask them politely, suggest it, because the more of us that nag them, the more likely it is that they are to do it, because they'll see there's a demand for it. I think it's expensive producing open stock pencils, and I think that's why the budget brands don't do it. Arteza used to do it, but you could only buy boxes of 3. I hope you can see I'm just putting a bit of dark colour at each end of the viney bit, and then in the base of the leaf. Nothing too tricky. Oh, my sun's up. And now windows. I'm going to do a nice warm cozy window. What have we got yellow wise? We've got the brilliant yellow. It's rather nice. Is that it? No. There it is. Brilliant yellow. I think, yeah, I'd sharpen it. Yeah, so open stock I think is expensive to produce, so I'm going to go like that and leave a bit of white in the top corners. Again, this is a technique pinched off Johanna. Sorry, influenced by Johanna. Stolen. Now I'm going to make a decision about door window frame. Let's go with a red door. We haven't got a lot of red in this set. Vermillion I think will probably just about work. It's getting so short, my vermilion. Now I was going to do this as like a window, but this isn't a window, so I'm just going to put vermilion over the whole door to start with and see where it leads us. Yes, so even big brands like Derwent have the same thing with this repeating colour thing, because in their very thin set the colours are the same as in their Premier set, but of course the idea of the very thin set, sorry, is to complement the Premier set by being a little bit harder a pencil, well, much harder pencil to be honest. I'm going to colour this one a bit darker. I'm just going to saturate it a bit more. So the very thins are harder, so you can get into smaller areas and do details with them. And I used them in my pumpkin page video from this book, and they were very effective. I actually really like them, just generally as a pencil. They're very nice. Now, do we match our shutters to our front door? I say yes. Now, if we don't, I'm going to try and do these shutters the same way as I did the coffee pot shutters. So a bit darker on the line and slightly fade up. It's quite tricky. So we leave a tiny line. I can't really fade it. The space is too small. I can leave a line. I'll see whether I think it works when I've finished. So yeah, so if you've got like Derwent, for example, who are a premier brand, they, I'm looking for a darker colour for the door frame and window frame. I'm going to go with the Spice Red. They have the same colours, some of the overlap in their Chroma Flow and their Light Fast in their other ones. I haven't got all of their pencils, but there is overlap colour wise. Here's the Spice Red. It's up with the greens, obviously. That's where you keep it. Goodness knows why it's there. Anyway, so there's some overlap. So you just need to be aware. So if you're buying pencils because you want the different colours, then make sure you check a swatch chart first to see whether you are getting the range of colours that you're hoping for. Yeah, and then you won't be disappointed, hopefully. See, Faber-Castell, I don't know if they're the same because I've only got their polychromos. I haven't got any other pencils of theirs. And they do the red box set that I know my mum used to have. I'm doing a bit of shadow under that door handle. And I don't know if those are the same colours. I don't know if they have colour names on. Just going around there. I don't know why. I just think it needs to look like it's maybe slightly dipped in. Now, we've got our tulips, as Johanna called them in her video. I hadn't thought of them as tulips, but they are, aren't they? I think we can do these in a bright orange. They'll go with the rust, they'll go with the red, but they'll stand out in their own right. So the brightest orange is probably... yeah, I'm going to go for the cadmium orange deep. It isn't the darkest orange, it's the one that I think is the more fluorescent, if you understand what I mean. So hopefully it'll stand out because there's such little areas. I'm going to block it in quite dark if I can. And I am going to keep them all the same. There we go. And then we are going to do our doorstep. Now, I think I want this to look slightly browny grey. I'm going to use the Davies grey first, but I will add some brown on top, I think, because it really isn't brown enough. I don't know if I'm making sense, but I'm going to put a bit of that down. It looks very similar to the colour of the watering can. It's not a coffee pot. And then I'm going to add some burnt umber. Now, really carefully here because the burnt umber is quite an intense colour. So I'm going to add a light layer, really gentle touch, because I want it to look like a French grey rather than a brown. Yeah, I think that's okay. But I need some shadow on here. Excuse me, I'm going to use the black because I don't want to change the tone because I'm quite happy with the tone. So what I want is a bit of shadow in there and here. Oops, that's a bit high. I'm going to have to just take that across a bit and maybe make that a bit higher too so that it matches. But I think that's okay. Maybe that bit at the end. Now, one last touch is the grass. I just did quite plain. I'm going to use my sap green to add a few lines of darker green. I don't know how much that will show up, but I just feel like I should not just keep it plain. There we go. Yeah, I think we are done. I'm quite happy with that as an experimental rusty watering can. I hope that's what it looks like. But, but thank you for watching, everyone. I hope that you have a super day and happy colouring.